Make it, yeah. We're gonna make it.
I know that as a city, small businesses are the lifeblood of the city. You are the ones that economically help us to keep going. And in these hard times, we must do more to help support and sustain and grow small businesses. Today's summit is just one small way to help share information and resources to help you on your journey. Our first workshop of the day is navigating through COVID, where you will hear from the City of Milwaukee Health Department, other city departments, and the Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce about best practices as a business for your employees as well as for your customers. Enjoy the workshop.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Milwaukee Business Summit. I am excited that you are here to join us. My name is Terrence Moore. I am from the Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, and I am just totally excited about being able to share with you some of the information that is necessary for really pivoting and operating in this pandemic and beyond. A lot of the things I'll be giving, the information I'll be giving you will be some backstory as well, how it has affected businesses, what are some of the things that we can do now, and also some of the available resources that's available in our area that you can apply for. So let's move on with our presentation. And if you have any questions, I'm looking forward to answering those questions. This is my information. Again, Hmong, Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. I'm a business development coordinator there. Phone number is listed, and I've been with the chamber for about a year and a half, but I have been in business for basically I'm a serial entrepreneur for about the past 20 years, and also have started businesses, help businesses navigate through all kinds of challenges, and just really have a very strong heart, especially for minority businesses that have been definitely affected by what's been going on right now, and to any other small businesses that have been affected nationwide. So the beautiful thing about, just to kind of give you some background as to what's going on right now, the COVID-19 crisis has been devastating to small businesses. And in the United States, for example, there are 25.3% fewer of them open in December 20th than at the beginning of the year. In the US, small businesses revenue fell more than 30% between January and December 20th. So as you can tell, this pandemic has really affected businesses on a very short scale as well, in a very short period of time, especially when we are in this kind of environment. Things are shifting, and this pandemic actually has been, I would say, a blessing to small businesses, because we're finding out that many small businesses have been shifting and realigning itself too slowly and have fallen behind technologically. So now, during this crisis, there's been tremendous growth in digitalization, and that is something that businesses have to pivot on. Everything is not analog. Everything is digital. We knew that that was the case, but now this pandemic is forcing us into digitalization. Everything from online customer service to remote working to supply chain reinvention to the use of artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning to improve operation. That because of this disruption in the pandemic, this has also created a very, very good time for entrepreneurs to be creative. And also because many people have become unemployed, that entrepreneur spirit, that creativity has really pushed them to step out on their own. Because of that, with corporations and small businesses, there's been a shift to e-commerce. Many have shifted their shopping patterns online. Businesses are rethinking their supply chain. Businesses understanding digitalization, as I said before, in April 22, 2020, this Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, said, "We've seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months." That is the speed of business. Business has accelerated at a rate that is beyond our own expectation, and is forcing corporate leaders, is forcing entrepreneurs to really shift and pivot in a way that they, again, have not been used to. And now we're forced to do that right now. And it's amazing that it took a pandemic to get us to this point. Unfortunately, I just want to go back to a few slides. The sad truth is that in the United States, the coronavirus hit Black communities the hardest. That was only compounded by the worldwide outrage over the killing of George Floyd. Now, people have said, well, George Floyd this has always been going on, but the reality of it is that this incident was the straw that broke the camel's back from a community perspective, in the global community perspective, and also in particular, the community of entrepreneurship, minority businesses. Everything got accelerated there before there were minority businesses was very difficult to get access to capital. Um, Minority businesses have to fight against racism to get into certain markets and certain industries. A lot of things, this pandemic, the racial inequities, the economic inequities, all of that, all of those things that was under the surface really came to the forefront. It came to the surface. So all those things that were structural, all those things that were institutionalized, now all of those things are being exposed. The weaknesses are being exposed now, so that we can start finally addressing the elephant in the room. In this case, the economic elephant in the room, the racial economic elephant in the room. All of these inequities that have been in the system for the longest, now we are forced to face it right now, because if there's something that's going on in one area, is going to affect another area in your life. These things, racial inequity has affected communities, education, finance, economics, political. Now it's affecting entrepreneurship, business, corporations, expansion. Everything is bleeding over. Well, because prior, everything was compartmentalized. So it's easy to say one thing doesn't affect another. Now everything is to the forefront, and you're having to deal with that reality. So the effects on minority businesses weren't limited to health and employment concerns. Minority-owned small businesses went into crisis more vulnerable than non-minority-owned businesses. These businesses employ more than 8.7 million people and are concentrated in the industries most immediately affected by the pandemic. So if you ever think that minority businesses aren't effective in our economic society, or having to do with our nation as a whole, or even globally, you're understanding that small businesses affect 8.7 million people. So it's very important that minority businesses, in addition to other small businesses that are operating right now, that they get the help what they need. They also, again, pivot. They also begin to look at their structure, begin to realign some things, so that they can really be ready for our next normal, whatever that looks like. We have to be ready. As people are refreshing and reskilling, so must businesses, as I stated. Some may need to change industries, because you're finding out that, hey, I thought I was in the right industry, but the way things are evolving globally, the way things are evolving domestically, I really need to shift. I really need to go from retail to manufacturing. I was doing more product-based, now I need to do more service-based. Do you have the ability to reskill your business, reskill yourself, reshape, reform, whatever you have to do in order to be ready for this next? And at this time, we still have no idea what the next is. We just have to be very fluid as time goes on. So don't get your mind set to say, hey, this is what I think it is. Just be ready. Begin to take additional classes. Begin to really look at some of the things that's really going to affect your business. As I stated, being digital, look into artificial intelligence, understand machine learning, understanding social media as it relates to algorithms and things of the sort, because now you are really going to have to be even more masterful as you begin to navigate through these very trying and challenging waters. But it's not impossible at all. You just have to reshift, relook, realign how you think about your business. You're going to have to start integrating scenario-based cash planning. Should businesses merge or acquire, and also integrating analytics into the business model? There is no shame in saying, you know what, maybe I need to go to another business and let's start combining resources. Because right now, two businesses operating in the same sphere or even in the same area, is not effective in this new shift, is not effective in where we're going, is not effective right now. We may just need to combine businesses. We need to merge, or some business may say, "Hey, it's time for me to grow a little bit. I don't want to grow by creating something again or recreating something." There's another business that aligns with values, my mission, and maybe I should look into purchasing them. I heard that, hey, the owner is ready to leave the business. Let me think about acquiring that business. Maybe that is something that could be done, and you can combine the resources of two different companies, change the culture of the new company so that it's much more effective, and you have a greater expanse. You have to change the way you think. We have to change that. We are no longer the mom and pop store, but we are a community store, much more cause driven. How can we really truly affect our community and be able to grow and globally as well as domestically? So it's nothing wrong with giving up some leverage, especially if you're dealing with either merging or acquiring, merging and acquisition. There's nothing wrong with that. That is done in small businesses too. It's not just limited to corporate giants. This happens all the time on a smaller scale. You're going to have to understand the different types of industry revolutions that we have already gone through. And some of you many of you I know have already been used to or aware of Industry 4.0. We've heard about that, or the fourth industrial revolution. First industrial revolution was characterized by steam and water. The second, electricity to mass produce things. Third, characterized by the internet, communication technologies, and digitization of everything. Now here we are. The fourth industrial revolution is the concept of blurring the real world with the technological world. If we're not able to adapt right now, we are going to, as businesses, as entrepreneurs, as corporate leaders, you're going to fail if you don't adapt. The old way in which you built businesses, the old way in which you started businesses, the old way is really gone. And if you really look at how things are going, you are already realizing that the old way doesn't even fit right now while we're in the transition. So your mindset of how to address these things, you have to understand the blurring of the real world with the technological world. Terrence, what does this all have to do with COVID? Well, if you're going to make sure that you're successful, you have to look at what has been going on, what is going on right now. And so that if there's something that pops up again, another pandemic or another technological glitch or something else occurs, you already had the mindset of being proactive and being able to be very fluid to adaptability. So everything about your being, everything about your mindset, everything has to change so that, again, once you are out of this post-pandemically, you are really ready for this new normal, whatever that looks like, because you're already getting into that mindset right now. Just as you can see, companies whose Industry 4.0 implementation is more mature reported a stronger ability to respond to the COVID-19 crisis. And I pulled this report from McKinsey and Company. You're realizing those who have done no implementation, some ad hoc trials, some use case pivoted, at least some use cases of scaled across locations. Again, when you already have changed your mind and start bringing some form of adaptability to your businesses, you're setting your business up for success, and not only success, sustainability. Companies again, we're looking at the sad truth, as I spoke earlier, about hitting Black communities. The effects of minority communities weren't limited to health and employment concerns. Minority-owned small businesses went into crisis more vulnerable than normal non-minority-owned businesses. Again, look at the chart. How non-minority businesses versus minority businesses, how those have been affected. The financial health spectrum, how that has been affected. These things are affecting businesses, more minority businesses straight across the board, and we have to be ready to address those situations. Just want to give you some idea for some of the resources that's available. It's not going to be very exhaustive, just a few that many of you have already been familiar with. The SBA COVID-19 economic injury disaster loans. including agricultural businesses, nonprofit organizations in all United States and DC and territories can apply for the economic injury disaster loan. We also have, as many of you are familiar right now, the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, now allows certain eligible borrowers that previously received a PPP loan to apply for a second draw with the same general loan terms as their first PPP loan. The Hmong Chamber does not help with that, but your local bank, contact your banking institution or financial institution to help you walk through applying for a PPP. One of the things that we are directly connected to is what we call the Bruce City Match COVID-19 Emergency Loan Fund. And the Bruce City Match is an extraordinary collaborative between many organizations led by LISC. And we help businesses start, we help businesses get ready to get space, we help businesses get funded, and that's where I come in with the funding of small businesses. And we help to assure them, and we also help them with certain grants for marketing. The city of Milwaukee is heavily involved in that aspect of it. We have very, very great and strong partners to help businesses start from, hey, I just have an idea, to actually operating to full capacity. And we make sure that we are able to help our businesses really, really thrive and make sure that minority businesses in underestimated areas be able to get the loans and get the grants and get the assistance that they need, not only financially, but we also make sure that our entrepreneurs are really ready to move forward and go from, hey, something that was started in my house to something that I want to have a small storefront, to now I have employees part-time, now I have employees full-time, now I am a global institution. So those are the things that we help our entrepreneurs grow to. And the areas that we focus on right now is the historic King Drive, North Avenue Marketplace, Lindsay Heights, near West Side, and the Cesar Chavez Drive corridors and the surrounding neighborhoods. Right now, during this COVID, we know that many of our small businesses and many of those businesses in those areas are minority based. So what we have right now, we have an emergency loan fund primarily used for working capital to cover rent, payroll, and other fixed expenses. This loan will be at 0% interest rate. Let me repeat that, 0% interest rate from $5,000 to $10,000. How can I qualify for this? The beautiful thing about the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce is the fact that we are a CDFI, which we help people get funded in underestimated areas. And what that means is that we don't judge a person applying for the loan just by credit score. We are a very character-based industry. We help people, okay, hey, we see that your score is not the best, that would because your score may have disqualified you for a bank. But our interest rates are not to the point where that is predatory. We want to be able to help people. So you say, hey, my score is not the best, but when we start looking at your business and we start seeing, hey, this person really does know how to run their business. Look at their revenue, look at their strategy, look at what they're doing. Let us be able to come in and help them be able to operate by allowing them access to capital that they would not have had. So we look at all those things. We look at the total person. We look at the total entrepreneur. We look at the business to see if they can pay back the loan. And here's the other thing that is going to be very key as part of your pivoting. One of the things that I have realized in helping many of our entrepreneurs is that on paper, everything looks good, everything looks great, but they're disorganized. They don't have it in a software package or in a way. They don't have a financial system that is able to really track their revenue. They're not able to track their expenses, and they're finding out that they've had holes in their pockets. They've had holes in their business pockets that they didn't even realize. And one of the things that I've been able to help many of our entrepreneurs is getting them from a non-system to a system-based finance, where that they're able to start tracking things and begin to look at their business, not as a hobby, but really as a business. What are some of the things that a bank look for? What are some of the things that other financial institutions look for? We help set them up from the very beginning. We basically take them from almost disorganization to a sense of organization to organization. And we don't do this, and then we say, hey, here it is. This is a teaching moment. This is a time where that we are teaching them as we're changing. We're teaching them and educating them on the business of their business so that they are much more sustainable on the in the long term, because right now many of them have been flying by the seat of their pants. Now they're thinking, how could I set my business up to be much more sustainable so that if something does happen, I have a reserve. I may not be able to put $5,000 or $10,000. I might just have to put $100 every week or $25 every transaction, whatever that case that's going to be beneficial for them. But we set that up for them so that it can be very beneficial. So now they're in this COVID situation. They're in this situation where, hey, I really need to focus. I need the help during this time while they're qualifying for the loan. This, again, we're also teaching them along the way. Another resource with HWCC, which is the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce, we have a COVID-19 emergency loan fund. These funds are primarily used for working capital to cover rent, payroll, and other fixed expenses. This loan will be at 0% interest as well, $5,000 to $10,000, and this one, it covers statewide. So the previous emergency loan fund I told you about just covered those 4 specific areas, but our own chamber fund covers statewide. So definitely contact us if you need assistance. The Harbor District was something that we have partnered with the Harbor District, Bid 51, same situation, 0% interest loan for small businesses located within the Harbor District, Bid 51. And it can and we're giving out loans, giving you access to loans from $5,000 to $10,000, and we are processing those loans. So we are really truly helping our businesses not only just be sustainable and helping getting them to the point of recovery, but we're helping them to be sustainable and be able to really, really continue to make an impact, and also help them with pivoting and realigning for their next level of purpose. So again, thank you very much. I'm Terrence Moore. I'm the Business Development Coordinator at the Hmong Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce. There's my information. If you have any questions, please email me or give me a call. I'll be happy and more than pleased to help you. You all take care. You will be successful and sustainable.
Hi, I'm Julie Hultz with the City of Milwaukee Health Department Consumer Environmental Health Division, and I'm here to talk to you today about food businesses in the City of Milwaukee. The City of Milwaukee Health Department licenses and inspects food stores, restaurants, food trucks, sales of food online, body art facilities such as temporary tattoo establishments, and temporary food events. The City of Milwaukee Health Department also inspects schools. We generally have a registration process for school food programs and charge an inspection fee. We generally don't license schools unless it is a caterer that's doing the food service operation, in which case they would be required to have a food license. We inspect community food programs. We require that they register, but there is no inspection fee for the community food programs. We also have a weights and measures program where we license scales, gas pumps, and other devices used in commerce. We do not generally inspect daycares unless the daycare kitchen has a catering operation. So daycare operations are going to be licensed and inspected by the state of Wisconsin. If you are just opening a tavern with no food sales, you generally are not licensed or inspected by the City of Milwaukee Health Department. However, you do need to submit a COVID safety plan in order to get your tavern license released. Information about COVID safety plans can be found on our website, www.milwaukee.gov/MMFS. And here is a screen of that website, and it will give you information about submitting COVID safety plans for restaurants and bars. For restaurants and bars, these COVID safety plans do need to be approved prior to license release. So you want to make sure that you go to this website, Click on this risk assessment tool, download the risk assessment tool and fill it out. You'll need to submit that as well as a COVID safety plan, again, in order for your license to be released. If you are interested in manufacturing food to sell at a store, that would be considered food manufacturing or wholesaling. Generally, the Department of Agriculture, the state of Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, is going to do your licensing and inspections. However, retailers in the city of Milwaukee can wholesale up to 25% of their sales without a state license, but that does not include meat items. If you would like to manufacture anything containing meat for sale in stores, then you would have to contact either the state of Wisconsin Department of Agriculture or the United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, to be licensed and inspected. So prior to applying for a license with the city of Milwaukee, you can contact us for a site evaluation. Our staff will come out for no charge and look at the facility that you're planning to open and determine what the requirements would be or what changes would need to be made to the facility in order for you to get a license there. Again, we'll look at the usability of the space for a food business, and then if there is any existing equipment or facilities, we can look at those to determine their usability for licensing. If you're opening a new food establishment, you will need to go through the plan review process. If it has not been a food establishment before, or if it has been a food establishment and you're making major changes, you do need to go through a plan review process with the City of Milwaukee Health Department. And it's a very important process. It's going to help you to avoid costly changes after construction. So we definitely want to do that plan review process prior to construction. When you submit plans to the City of Milwaukee Health Department, they should include the menu, the finishes, so what materials are going to be used on your floors, walls, and ceilings. There should be an equipment layout and a list of the equipment that you're going to use. You should include the location of the plumbing fixtures. There needs to be a hand washing sink convenient to all food preparation areas, and food preparation areas do include outdoor bar areas. So you need to have adequate hand washing sinks. There needs to be ware-washing sinks, and those ware-washing sinks can no longer be used for hand washing. So there has to be a separate hand washing sink in your ware-washing area. And then you're also going to be working with the Plumbing Plan Review and Inspection Department from the City of Milwaukee, and they will make the determination about the requirements for grease traps. For the Health Department, you'll need to give us information about your hot water supply. And you'll want to include in that plan all areas of the establishment. So if there's basements that are going to be used, outdoor areas, cooking areas, you need to include all of that in your plan review. We've noticed with the COVID epidemic right now that a lot of establishments are finding that they need a lot more space for storage because of the volume of to-go foods that they're doing. So you want to plan for that with your new food establishment. As far as commercial kitchen ventilation requirements, that's the jurisdiction of our construction inspection or Department of Neighborhood Services. So you can check with the Department of Neighborhood Services regarding commercial kitchen ventilation requirements. We also want to see an employee illness policy. We'll ask for that as part of your application process. And we may require that you submit some standard operating procedures. For example, if you plan to have an open air facility or openable windows that you're going to leave open, we're going to want to see a standard operating procedure for those. Our plan review process can take up to 30 days. It can take longer if all the items that we request are not submitted. So you want to get those plans into the City of Milwaukee Health Department as soon as possible. Again, we do license and inspect food trucks. The City of Milwaukee has a lot of information on their website regarding food trucks, mobile food establishments. So I can show you that website here. We go through the licensing process for mobile food establishments on our website. including the location of the application. And then we also list all of the mobile food unit requirements. Our requirements are based on the Wisconsin Food Code, and they can be found in Chapter 9. We have information about the moving and parking rules in the city of Milwaukee, the actual unit requirements. There's a checklist for that. And then there's information about a service base. Mobile food units are required to have a licensed service base that they're associated with. So you'll need to have both the unit and the service base. The city of Milwaukee has a requirement for a separate license for ice cream peddlers, and there's information on our website about that. And then there's information about the mobile service base requirements. What is going to be required at the service base for your mobile food establishment. Mobile food establishments also have to go through plan review. So if it's a new base, you'll have to submit plans on the base. And then the unit itself, you'll have to submit a drawing or plans for the mobile food establishment. Again, we also license and inspect temporary events. There is no official plan review process for that, but the license needs to be applied for at least 30 days prior so that we can review your plans for the temporary event. And we may contact you regarding your menu for the temporary food event. Sometimes your food operation, you're going to need to have a special approval. If you plan to do things like reduced oxygen packaging, curing of foods, acidification, canning, you'll need to have a special approval that will involve a HACCP plan and a variance, and our department can work with you on those requirements. Once you apply for the license, submit your plans if required. You'll have to schedule a pre-inspection with the City of Milwaukee Health Department. You want to wait at least 24 hours after applying for a license to schedule the pre-inspection with one of our inspectors. During those pre-inspections, we'll be looking at the room finishes, the equipment, the hot water, the plumbing, and then making sure that you have everything you need for a safe food operation. Things like thermometers, soap, towels, garbage cans, and everything will have to be in compliance prior to us releasing the hold on your license. So when we come to do that pre-inspection, if everything is not in compliance, we'll issue orders, and then we'll come back to make sure that everything is in compliance prior to releasing the hold on your license. And once again, you're going to need that COVID safety plan if you're going to allow people to enter your facility for dining. And then food manager certification. The state of Wisconsin requires food manager certification for anyone that is preparing food in a licensed food facility. So our website has information about food manager certification and how that certification can be obtained. You do have 90 days from licensing to get a certified food manager for your food establishment. If you do not obtain a certified food manager within 90 days, your license will be suspended. So the sooner that you can get working on this food manager certification, the better. If you're planning on opening a convenience store, our website has information about convenience store security, and the requirements for convenience stores are that you have a safe and security cameras, and also that you attend free robbery prevention training that's offered by the Milwaukee Police Department. So on our website here, milwaukee.gov/C-store, we have information about the robbery prevention training class, the dates, the times. Please note that registration is required prior to attending the class, so you can use the information from the website, milwaukee.gov/C-store, to get information about the registration. Once you are licensed, we will come back and do a 30-day inspection. So once you're licensed, we'll come back within 30 to 60 days and do an inspection. We'll go through your whole facility. And so you want to make sure you're prepared for those inspections. The City of Milwaukee Health Department has information about our grading system at milwaukee.gov/food sanitation grading. And it tells you everything about the grading system. And then there's also a self-inspection link on this website. So you can download an inspection that you can do yourself to prepare yourself for that first inspection that we're going to do within 30 to 60 days. That first inspection is not graded. It's kind of a freebie to get you accustomed to our inspection process. After that first inspection, we'll come back in 6 months, and that will be the first graded inspection. So this webpage has information about our grading system, about our point system, so you can learn and understand the City of Milwaukee Health Department's grading system. That is what I have today for licensing and inspections with the City of Milwaukee Health Department. I wish you luck, and please feel free to contact us if you have any questions about opening a food business in the City of Milwaukee.
Hi everyone, welcome to the 2021 Milwaukee Business Now Entrepreneurship Summit. My name is Carlene Cortez, Community Outreach Liaison for the Department of City Development, and today we want to talk to you about some of the resources DCD has to offer you. As you already know, when you visit our website milwaukee.gov/DCD, you can see available properties, resources, development opportunities, among other important information. However, did you know that you can also learn about available commercial properties in the city? When you visit milwaukee.gov/CRE, you'll find commercial listings advertising retail stores, mixed-use buildings, multifamily properties, or industrial facilities for sale and renovation. At DCD, we look for quality renovations and project feasibility, as well as offer price. Once on our webpage, you can click on one of the options: commercial buildings, multifamily commercial buildings, development sites, commercial, industrial, or residential, and surplus school properties. Let's say you select commercial buildings. When you click on this option, you will find a list of available properties. Each one has detailed information like listing price, buyer obligations, potential uses, among other. Please make sure to read all the information if interested in one of our properties. If you are an interested buyer, there are a series of guidelines or instructions to follow, like the ones you see on screen. So please make sure to, again, read carefully and do not hesitate to ask for assistance. The City of Milwaukee also has a limited number of scattered sites along its commercial corridors that have not yet been identified for sale. You can check ownership on the assessor's website or on Map Milwaukee. All this information and more can be found at milwaukee.gov/CRE. Now we want to talk to you about our commercial corridor team. The City of Milwaukee offers resources to businesses to assist in investing in brick and mortar locations. These programs include the Signage Grant, Facade Grant, White Box Grant, and Retail Investment Fund Grant. The Signage Grant assists businesses in installing signage to attract customers and enhance the appearance of their storefront. The Facade Grant can assist in updating a public street-facing exterior wall of a commercial building. The storefront gives the public an important first impression of your business. They can help to display what your business offers and play a key role in creating more welcoming and active commercial corridors. The city's White Box Grant can assist business or property owners with basic improvements to get a space ready for a new business. If the inside of your storefront is in pretty rough shape, the White Box program can help you with some of the basic repairs, including activities like drywall, plumbing, electric, and heating and cooling systems. The Retail Investment Fund, also known as the RIF grant, can assist business owners with costs related to build out of the commercial space, as well as furnishings, fixtures, and equipment. A key difference between this program and others is that the grant also requires the creation of jobs that are to be held by City of Milwaukee residents. All the programs can be found in the Department of City Development's Business Toolbox. visit milwaukee.gov/business toolbox and scroll down to the commercial corridor section for grant rules, guidelines, and applications. You can also talk with our staff by reaching out to the grant hotline at 414-286-8201 or by email at facadegrants@milwaukee.gov. The City of Milwaukee is also home to over 30 business improvement districts, otherwise known as BIDs. These districts have organized to invest in activities and programs to enhance their districts for business and commercial real estate development. Visit milwaukee.gov/bids for a list of all the city's bids. You can click on any of the images for maps, contact information, operating plans, and additional links for each of the city's business improvement districts. There are numerous organizations in the city of Milwaukee that offer financing and technical assistance for small businesses. On the screen, you see a sample of the many different organizations in the city of Milwaukee. Y si gustarías asistencia en español, no dude en comunicarse con nosotros. Thank you for joining us.
Make it, yeah, yeah. We're gonna make it.